PVC. This is Luke with Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back. Unless this is the first time you're viewing my channel, then simply, hey, welcome. Okay, so today is Sunday, September 19th. It is a absolutely gorgeous day out here on the eastern end of Long Island. Hopefully it is equally gorgeous where you are. Okay, so this week's recent finds, a sidebar into baseball cards, and we're off. Okay, so last week we had a yard sale at my house. We did a yard sale Saturday and Sunday, so I didn't do any videos. But an odd thing happened as I was doing this yard sale. One of my local guys, who's also a collector, is very, very similar to me, and he collects a lot of different things. And we got to talking about baseball cards. And so he's like, hey, I'm doing a yard sale next week, and if you're really serious, come on down and I'll show you some stuff. So I was like, okay. So I went down yesterday, and sure enough, he had set aside a box of stuff for me. And I looked at it, and a lot of it was, meh, nothing crazy. Nothing that's going to make any collector go, wow. But he pulled out a slab of 11 cards, and I looked at these cards, and I'm like, okay, now that makes me go, wow. So anyway, after some negotiations and after some hemming and hawing, we kind of reached a number that that seemed fair. So let me show you what I bought, because otherwise, it's pretty pointless. I bought this 59 mantle. I'll try to get it without as much glare as possible. The back of this 59 mantle, again, no glare. Well, try to keep the glare down, but anyway, it's a lesson in futility. But yeah, it's a nice card. Now, I am a Met fan. I'm not, and I'm not a Mantle fan in particular. But you can get your hands on a Mantle at reasonable costs. You do it. I mean, it worked out to me somewhere in the neighborhood of like $80 to $90 a card. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. Also, I picked up this nice 69 bench. Now, this one is not his rookie card. I actually bought his rookie card earlier in the year as part of another baseball card collection I bought. And then, of course, I don't know what year. This is a 63 Mays also. And there was other cards in there as well. Depending on whether you're actually interested. Anybody shows any interest in it as well, I'll show the rest. But this is also a 63 Mays. So I'm going to send the mantle and the bench out to be graded. For you baseball guys, PSA is $200 a card to grade, and you're a year out, as is Beckett. So I kind of said, is there an alternative? And I found SGC. SGC is at $30 a card, and they're at 30 to 50 days. So, yeah, you're grading as a resale item. Then if I wanted to sell them, it would certainly be better to have it graded by PSA, but I'm not going to wait a year, and I'm certainly going to pay $200 for a card that's probably not going to come back as a 9 or a 10. It'll probably come back in the 4s, maybe the 5s. I'm hoping it comes in as a 4 or a 5. So SGC was a better option for me. So if you're a baseball card guy or girl or collector and you want to get your stuff graded, try SGC. When I get them back, I'll do a reveal and see what they are. All right, so on to this week's purchases. This is actually last week's purchases. My buddy Mike called me up about 3 weeks ago now. And this is the same guy who gave me the 50,000 45s, literally gave me 50,000 45s because him and his partner had bought it at a record store. So he calls me up, and he and I trade back and forth, and we know each other, and which we live in the same town. So obviously when we go to yard sales, we're always trying to beat each other to that sale. But we're also cool enough where we tip each other off if there's stuff available that the other one might want and I have, etc., etc. So anyway, he calls me up and he was like, "Hey, look, I just made this huge buy, and I pulled everything I wanted the stuff out. I got a lot of stuff left. There's a lot of good stuff. If you're interested, come on down and take a look." So I was like, "Absolutely." So I went down and he goes, I really just want to get rid of all of this stuff. So he gave me a price, which was basically, could you just take it, please? That kind of price, it was like, here's a nominal fee, and it was about 1,200 albums. So I took them, and I kept for myself personally about 50 albums. I sold about 150 to 200, maybe 300 albums last week at my yard sale. On average, figure about at 50 cents a record because I just needed to get rid of them. And I donated about 400 of them. So that left me about 200 albums that are really cool and I'm going to sell on eBay because they're nothing crazy, but they are $10 records, and if I sell $210 records, then I can afford to buy more albums and more higher end stuff when the opportunity presents itself without hurting myself too much in the bank account area. Because I'm like everybody else, guy. I'm not independently wealthy. I don't have a bazillion dollars sitting around to buy records with. So as you and as me and as everybody else, I sell some of my overflow so I can buy more records and more baseball cards too, and more cars and videos and posters and any other thing that strikes my fancy this week. Moving on. So what did I get? Okay, so I got this Charlie Byrd Touch of Gold promo. And I'm only going to show 4 records this week. I'll show more as we go on. I try to keep these at reasonable levels. This is a white label Columbia 2i. A really great listen, a very relaxing listen. This is definitely a record that you put on Sunday mornings as you're having breakfast, or if you come home from a really long, hard, annoying day at work and you just want to kind of kick back in your easy chair and put something on and just kind of like decompress from the day. This would be an optimal choice. And it's also inexpensive. I mean, again, it's about a $10 record. Promo is going to run you 12. There you go. So, I mean, it's not pricey. It's not going to break your budget. And it's also not something you're going to throw on every 5 minutes. This is, again, one of those albums you put in your collection to have specifically for those days when you need something really relaxing to help you decompress. So that was one. This is still sealed, and this is Jimmy Smith in plain brown wrapper. I haven't broken the seal yet on this because honestly, it was a lot of records to go through. Jimmy Smith is one of those artists that I absolutely love. I think he is just so versatile. He's a great musician. He's a great organist. He's certainly a great guitar player. I mean, he sings well. Just everything about this man screams supreme talent as far as I'm concerned. So this album was part of that recent purchase. Awesome, right? Still sealed, so we're going to presume this to be mint. Interlude to let you know that if you like my channel and you like talking about records, or you like, I don't think you like hearing me talk about records, but you like the interaction with the vinyl community, hey, please subscribe and leave me a comment. I love the idea of comments and interplay between fellow record collectors, and the fact that I'm sitting here on the eastern end of Long Island, and somebody across the globe is watching this, or across the United States is watching this, and take the time to leave me a comment to let me know what they think of the video or the records or anything of that nature is just mind-boggling to me, and I'm just so supremely grateful when you do, and I do thank you again and again and again. So please subscribe, please leave me a comment. And without further ado, moving on to our next record. This is Herbie Hancock's Headhunter. Now, I'd actually bought another copy of this in another collection earlier this year. This is a great record. I mean, Hancock is just, I was late to the fandom of Herbie Hancock. Last year, I listened to Maiden Voyage, and I was like, wow, this is really amazing. And it kind of went forward from there. So I started hunting specifically the Hancock stuff. And I found one earlier this season, this Headhunters album earlier this season, and it was part of that jazz buy from the one yard sale behind all the hedges. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then there was another one in this collection that I just bought from Mike. So I'm like, that's weird, as I don't see that many of them, and I see two of them in the same summer. So this is also a really, really, really well laid out record. It's in great shape. The vinyl is in good shape. There's some spindle marks, but I mean, hey, outside of that, it's, you know, it's a late Columbia repress. I think it's like 74, 75. I don't really recall. But this is Hancock as he started really experimenting or delving deeply into the funk and electric style that he would later develop in the late 70s when I first heard of Hancock. Really funky and really cool, and I really suggest you buy yourself a copy if you like funk. And then finally, this little box set compilation. This is Cruisin' as a 5-record set. This was part of that, also the recent purchase from my friend Michael. And this has got pretty much everybody who you would expect from a Sessions 5-record set titled Cruisin'. Let me give you some the typical cast of characters you would expect to find. You got the Beach Boys, of course. You got Jan and Dean, of course. The Ventures, Leslie Gore, and then you kind of get off onto a little bit of a pseudo wild stuff, which is kind of cool because you've got the Bobby Fuller 4. You've got Wilson Pickett, you got American Breed, the Guess Who. You're kind of like all over the place. They got some CCR, the Everly Brothers, the Riveras, and then, you know, you're going with Buddy Holly and the Grassroots and Golden Earring. So, and it's like all the stuff you expect, like Golden Earring. It's obviously Read Our Love. Beach Boys, you get I Get Around. Jan and Dean is Dead Man's Curve. And then for some reason they threw the Bay City Rollers in here. I don't know why, but it's there. And it's not Saturday Night, the one and only song I know from the Bay City Rollers, but rather it is I Only Want to Be With You. I don't know, but it is there. This is another one that I'm keeping. Obviously, it's a, you know, look, it's a box set. It's cool, and it's got all the songs that I loved as a kid. You know, as a kid, I used to love box sets because I could listen to the whole album. You know, it was like very rarely was there a song I didn't like on the record. Whereas opposed to putting on an album, there's always like 2 or 3 tracks that I didn't like, and I have the attention span of a squirrel most times. So I would like, yeah, move on to the next song. I'm a little better now, not much, but a little better. So when I bought this, I was like, it's pretty cool. It's a 5-record set, and it's just cool. The records are in good condition, and the artists are the original artists. So I'll give it a listen and report next week what I think or don't think about that particular box set. So, hey, that's it. Have a great Sunday. If you are a Jet fan, yeah, so much for Zach Wilson saying he was looking forward to playing against the Belichick defense. 4 picks later, and that was at 4 picks when I turned the TV off. He may have thrown another one since. I don't know. It's possible. It's probable. But it was 4 picks, you know, early. It was like 2 picks and 4 passes to begin with. So yeah, I digress because I'm a Jets fan and I'm a masochist apparently. Nonetheless, guys, have a great week, everybody. Hopefully you're enjoying your Sunday, and you've hopefully been able to find some really cool records to listen to and to buy. Talk to you soon. Cheers.